Welcome. In this video, I want to do a follow-up regarding the video I put out as part of my Flipping the Script series. Again, related to a intentional interaction-based method. And this gets in this issue about approaching training as a intervention, following a path of a type of power play. And again, you see this type of power play situation with some trainers. Cesar Millan is one. The Dog Daddy is another individual, which I've talked about the issues there. When it comes to both the level of challenge that is generated through an intentional based method, but also the issue about making sense to the dog, and also in terms of change itself, how everything needs to come together. The method itself matters. I talk about that when it comes to certain dynamics within the parameters of a interaction-based method, where the core ingredients are coming in, influence and control. Everything, understand, everything has meaning, everything matters, and this is where you have to really step back and ask certain questions. Now, again, getting into this whole thing about, again, the video I just audited. Again, this was a request, okay, to, hey, this is interesting. Can you take a look at this trainer? And so, again, understand this isn't about just being critical that way. In fact, I don't even know this trainer. It was more kind of interest sake. Well, this looks like it could kind of line up a certain way. So, but a couple of takeaways there I want to just kind of talk through that I mentioned on the video it's very interesting, okay? When I talk about, if you really consider what I'm saying in terms of even why dogs will get triggered, okay, will launch into a level of challenge through being making contact within the parameters of the head region, okay? And really think about this, because this will start making sense through, again, why it is that things start to escalate in the relationship. But think about point of contact, okay? Contact by way of emotion, okay? Where does that contact happen? Typically, think about what I'm saying. The petting, okay, the emotion. Well, it's coming around typically around the head region, okay? Petting on the top of the dog's head, around the head area, around the head. And so what happens is, and this is where you'll see this escalation. Really think of it this way. I talk about the parenting example, and, I talk about the permissive parenting style. Ask out the question, as things, escalate in the relationship, the child becomes more self-focused, more selfish, problems happening everywhere, lack of respect. But who's generally the last person to get trampled in the relationship? Who takes the hit? Who's the last individual? Ask yourself, who is it? It's that parent who started that ball rolling in the first place, the source of, enabling selfishness, right? At the social level, the parent. So the parent's going to take the hit. They're going to be the last person. We're going to take the hit. But so when we talk about dogs as social animals, okay, then you'll see it. As things escalate in the relationship, as dog gains more and more control. And then what happens is the emotion becomes such a source of empowerment, it'll trigger off the dog. And more so, if you watch a couple of videos I did, I even had one, through years ago, which is you'll see it's very clear on this issue with Kaiser, when Kaiser came to me, and Kaiser is like, the 1 percentile dog without a doubt. Now, there's a moment in the video where, the method's online and, very intentional. Clarity, and this is why I talk about clarity really is a big issue here. Okay, this is where it's got to be, clarity is really important. And so when you, when the method's online, and then, rubbing on the top of the dog's head in that moment, the dog triggers off. Okay, moment of aggression. It's like, wow, what happened? Where did that come from? Well, that's the thing. That becomes the point of contact from the relationship, okay, from the past, right? It's like fire and gasoline, right? It's a source of empowerment. And so you bring a dog under intentional control, you're starting to evoke change. Well, that's going to ignite, that's going to set things off. So the video, I audited, okay, and you notice the trainer, and this is the problem, right? The trainer, and I talk about insight in depth and really considering certain things. The trainer had a muzzle on this Malinois, and the big focus was the complaint from the dog owner was you can't touch the dog's head. Think about that. Well, why do you think that is? Because that's become like that was the connection point, emotion, right? And so her big complaint, right, which the trainer fed into, was, okay, that's a problem. I'm gonna really focus on touching this dog's head. And this dog was going into challenge. And the thing to think about or consider is that that's symptomatic of a relationship problem. Okay, that started to become problematic because that point of connection, became, once that dog started getting more control. Well, the emotional owner, right? Suddenly, she's like probably upset. Like, I can't pet all this dog anymore. I can't do what I want to do, or I can't, now this dog's getting all upset and starting to launch into, attack mode. Well, that shouldn't be the focus, okay? When the dog comes in for the trainer, that shouldn't be the primary focus. That's like, okay, say, oh, that's interesting. Well, it should be about, the relationship, okay? It's about, you saw the trainer walking around, the dog was triggering off just from, how the dog was, fixating and invested in the trainer. Well, you need to just start to focus on intercepting the moments. But, through that, to the owner, the trainer started taking the dog and started, just drawing into that connection point with putting his hand on the dog's head. That's not the focus, because that's almost like saying, hey, that's like a problem that the owner recognized. But again, why is that a problem? What are you trying to do? Trying to reestablish that point of connection for the owner so that they can start to emotionalize a dog that way again? I mean, think about that. See, that's the thing that you have to really think about, okay? So this gets into now another issue here right away, and this is where I talk about when you see problems, okay? Because clarity through a method, okay? When I look at any trainer, say this trainer here, there's certain things that you notice, okay? He's spinning around, he's like walking into the dog, how he's moving with the dog and stuff. Everything needs to funnel, okay? Everything needs to be clear in a way that's intentional, okay? Intentional meaning the dog making sense of it, okay? So your movements matter, okay? Moving certain patterns, certain ways, those things all play a role in everything. So then those things all add up, like percentages. Now, in terms of, if I was to look at, say, and this is the problem here, if I was to look at a trainer and say, where does the dog daddy fall? Is the dog daddy better than, and this goes into Cesar Millan or any other trainer, they take it to a level of a power play. But if you were to scale it to say, okay, let's add up some issues here, and where do they fall, where do they scale? Okay, it's a type of spectrum. Now I talk about that. So understand that when you add up all the little stuff, the stuff starts adding up to a point where, especially, again, consider this, especially when you're dealing with the 1 percentile dog, that those things really matter, okay? They matter, that everything comes together in order to reverse course. So if things aren't, coming together to, really evoke change, okay? Change how the owner's interacting and really aligning properly, then it's going to be problematic, okay? You're still not going to end up in a place where you can reverse on those dogs, okay? Understand that. You might get, and this is the problem, better than a force-free trainer, absolutely. Better than a balanced dog trainer, sure. But what's the point, though, okay? If you still end up in a bad place, even though, okay, we kind of got there, but someone still got bitten, then that's a problem. So this is where people look at me and say, this is why I say, well, there is a standard, okay? All those little points, all those things really do matter. And so it's not about being critical, it's being critical, saying, okay, this is like important. Okay, these things, there is a method. That's why I put in a video before, but the method matters. This is why I won't come alongside anybody out there because that way, and people take it for whatever they want. Those things add up. Those things matter. If you care, if you really want to reverse course, especially dealing with these dogs, it's got to line up. And so I'll just say that, but interesting. Understand, I look at something and say, okay, that's interesting. But those are the things I encourage people to step back on and just really apply critical thinking to, you know, just in general, the dog training world. But again, I just want to say there's some takeaways there, very interesting. I encourage you to watch my complete Flipping the Script series. You got lots of great information for anyone paying attention in the dog training world. If you're interested in the system of training, encouraging to watch my YouTube channel. I got putting out lots of videos made available for free. If you want to go further in the system of training, you know, check out my website. I have lots of great options to do that. I have, you know, training guides. I got the FaceTime consult where you're like saying, well, I got some more questions here as a trainer, as a dog owner. No matter where you live, I can, you know, I spend the time answer those questions for you. If you want to be a trainer of the system, that's, you know, it's a great opportunity considering, you know, the dog training world, the state of the dog training world. Of course, coming up here shortly, so check it out. There's 2 courses, online courses that create a foundation that need to be completed prior to. You still have time to do those, no problem. Start now. So again, check out the system. Lots of great information out there. Talk about not just the source of the problem, but the solution by way of a intentional interaction-based method. Thanks for watching.